Tony's trial. He's got a trial date.
Millions. They created fantasy hedge funds and a story about a hero that helped reel in the cash.
I was in the military for 12 years.
Federal prosecutors say you're listening to a man lie through his teeth.
I was in Iraq. I suffered an injury, and because of that, I had to have a liver transplant.
That's Rudy Conan. He claims to be a war hero who was even awarded a Purple Heart.
A 50 caliber machine gun bullet ripped through his shoulder.
And that's his business partner backing him up.
Rudy was laying there in Iraq, bleeding to death.
You're about to see how a load of military lies helped a group of men fleece investors out of millions. A scam so lucrative, cash had to be stacked against walls, hidden in drawers, even stuffed into an oven.
It's an insult to every veteran, especially those who actually were wounded in combat.
According to prosecutors in the Northern District of Ohio, the lies began with this man, Brad Hubner. He started a business called the BH Group to sell Iraqi currency. And along with his partner, Charles Ameneker, told potential investors that one day Iraqi currency known as Dinar would skyrocket in value. And buying it right now could make you rich beyond your wildest dreams. Assistant U.S. Attorney Matthew Shepard.
And the promise was that Iraq was going to revalue their currency. That dinar, which was currently 1,100 dinar to the dollar, and then all of a sudden, overnight, the exchange rate would change.
And at the low end of what they were promising, it was about a 70,000% rate of return instantaneously. And I think the high end was well over 100,000%.
He says all investors had to do was buy dinar through BH. On average, the company charged a 20% markup. And investors would get stacks of the Iraqi cash in the mail. Assistant U.S. Attorney Gene Crawford.
They sold massive amounts of Iraqi currency. They were shipping it. People could come in and purchase.
And that's exactly what investigators caught on this undercover video.
Mr. Huber? Yeah. I'd like to go ahead and buy a small amount of dinars right now.
The guy in the yellow shirt?
Okay.
He's the dinar salesman.
To reel in more investors, prosecutors say the group recorded weekly conference calls and posted this infomercial on YouTube.
Welcome to the BH Group. My name is Brad Hubner.
They called the revaluation the blessing. The blessing may be coming around Christmas. You know, it's looking good for the 4th of July.
Prosecutors say BH brought in Rudy Conan, a supposed Wall Street bigwig and Desert Storm war hero. Here's Brad talking up Rudy on a conference call.
Former VP of J.P. Morgan.
And Rudy has a background at being in Iraq. He left part of his shoulder there.
Prosecutors say Rudy did actually join the Marines, but never even made it through boot camp. And as for his Wall Street cred, he worked at J.P. Morgan Chase for one day.
Apparently they discovered he wasn't what he said he was.
Here's Rudy telling investors he'll make them rich.
I talk to my guys on Wall Street. I'm very well connected on the street.
With Rudy in place, prosecutors say the group told investors they were starting hedge funds for all the soon-to-be millionaires. But first, there was an upfront fee. Investors sent BH more than $23 million to buy Dinar and some $700,000 for hedge funds that didn't exist. Brad was literally rolling in the cash.
He was making multiple trips to the bank to make sure that his cash deposits at the bank were all under $10,000.
He says the IRS caught wind of unusual financial transactions and began checking in to Brad.
They found stacks of this Iraqi currency everywhere in the office. They were keeping dinar in the stove. They had it in all the cabinets.
Rudy Conan pleaded guilty and was sentenced to 63 months in prison. After trial, Brad Hubner and Charles Ameneker were convicted of wire fraud and more. Hubner sentenced to 87 months in lockup and Ameneker to 33.
Okay.
Good morning, TNT. Today is August the 11th, 2014. It is I don't know what kind of Monday. What kind of Monday is it, Ray? He got something for Mondays.
Oh, marvelous.
Magic Monday.
Oh, marvelous, magic, glorious. All right.
Hello, this is TNT BS. We are the people. I can't help it. I'm reading some tweets here, and it's just amazing. I see Nash and Don and stuff like that, and it's talking, and it just dawned on me that I've seen it before, and I know I've always wanted to talk about it, but okay, Nash has got a good point. He says that Tony says that the banks don't know about the RV, but yet they're geared up on security. Oh my God. Okay, it just, look at it, folks. Now take it for what it's worth. Okay, nobody seems to know who or what fucking bank Tony's talking about. But it's so funny because he says, they're on standby. They're on 24-hour notice. They're on call. They had to go in on this weekend. But it's so funny that nobody seems to know. Nobody knows who the fuck he's talking about. But yet then he goes and says that the banks don't know about the RV yet. Honestly, folks, you gotta stop and really, really put your mind into it and think about what he's saying. The banks don't know about the RV, but yet he seems to say that they're on high alert and security, and Winston's talking about all this. They don't wanna bring all this chaos and confusion to the banks, and the most beautiful thing about all of it is Sterling says he's full of shit. Tony, even Sterling, you can call them and ask them about the RV and ask Sterling if anything has to do with any bank on standby. I'm sorry. I started reading these tweets and I started losing it. Oh my God, this is funny. I just had to make a short audio about this because this was just priceless. He can't keep up with his own lies. That's it. He's pathetic. That's exactly what he is. And it's just so funny. Oh my God, this was just priceless. And then there's this thing that's, I've seen so many people saying, the old cough, cough, that my boss just left to go exchange. He's flying in from Reno. This is just so, listen to what they say, okay? Now, how is it possible that every bank in this country has no clue, but yet, oh yeah, it's private, it's behind, really? And Tony, I like how you got 237,000 followers with, you average about 153 likes on your tweets. I like that. That's priceless. And, Tony, I think I know where you're getting your extra income from. Let me do a little bit more digging, and I'll make a video on that too. Because it's no longer Sterling, but I think I know where else you're getting it from. A few little leaks are coming my way, and it has a lot to do with Dinar, but it's not Sterling anymore. So let me do some more digging. This is TNTBS. Enjoy! Winston, try not to use so many ums today. I hope I didn't give you a mental complex about that.
Mansions, planes, cars, all assets the feds want to seize from a local company they say operated an investment scheme. Investigators say they allegedly collected hundreds of millions of dollars selling nearly worthless Iraqi currency. Channel 2's Steve Gelbach is live at the company's offices in Brookhaven, the site of a recent FBI raid. And Steve, we are talking about a lot of money.
More than $600 million here, Craig, collected over 11 years, all from investors trading dollars for Iraqi dinars. And it's emails in this federal complaint for forfeiture that make it appear the co-founders and chief operating officer knew they were making millions on false promises.
That we are legitimate.
This video shows co-founder Ty Ramey touting his business
To offer the most transparent, reliable, friendly, and compliant currency exchange experience.
But this civil lawsuit to seize Sterling's assets after an FBI raid last week says Ramey, co-founders Jim and Lorette Shaw, and another executive all knew the Iraqi money they sold to thousands of investors was never going to skyrocket in value. One email from Shaw to Ramey about his wife reads, "She has lately been very nervous and was crying last night because she knows we are running an illegal operation. So far, there have been no arrests." But attorney and former federal prosecutor Bob Brennan, who used to work financial fraud cases, says an ongoing criminal investigation will likely lead to charges.
Oftentimes, the government wants to get their hands on those assets, and oftentimes before they issue indictments, they may decide to file something like the civil forfeiture lawsuit.
No one answered when I called the company. Just keeps ringing. As for the mailing address on the company's website, it comes back to a box inside this UPS store on Piedmont Road in Buckhead. And no one came to the gate of this $6 million Buckhead estate that the property records show is owned by the Shaws. It's one of the assets the government wants to seize, along with this $1.5 million Brookhaven mansion raided by the FBI. The complaint also lists other local properties, 2 beach houses in Panama City, 3 airplanes, and luxury automobiles. It's really the emails in this court document that are the smoking gun here that could lead to charges. In one between co-founders, it says, quote, "We are 50% partners and his blank will go to prison if mine does." Live in Brookhaven, Steve Gelbach, Channel 2 Action News.
All right, we have a number.
At least one local investment advisor is calling this a scam.
Yeah, and Toledoans are being encouraged to buy the Iraqi dinar as a way to strike it rich. Toledo investors, though, are being encouraged to put money into Iraq's currency with the promise it'll soon increase in value. But one financial advisor says don't part with your dollars in favor of the dinar. Several websites have popped up recently claiming that as Iraq recovers and rebuilds from war, its oil reserves will help the economy there to boom, and its currency then will shoot up in value. But might all be a scam.
And if you look at the value of the dinar right now, it's worth about what a sheet of paper is and that you put in your photocopy machine. Why can I walk into a government, give them that piece of paper, and they will give me something worth drastically more? It just doesn't make sense.
Tree says he's received a lot of calls from smart investors who are drawn to the potential payoff, but he likens it to a Ponzi scheme and expects people to be left with worthless paper if they do invest.